I'm about to share with you the exact steps I'd follow if I wanted to add 1,000 subscribers to my email list in the next 30 days. Now, it doesn't matter if you're just starting an email list or if you're just looking for ways to get even more subscribers. The approach works in both ways. But before we even get into the steps, it's important you know why a person will sign up on your list in the first place, right? Meaning it's important you know how people think before they make the decision of signing up to your list or not. So I'll prompt you to go and watch my last video before watching this one. Okay, it's important because what I'm going to share in this video, you need to watch the previous video before to better understand or to better grab what I'm going to explain in this video. So it's somewhere here on the screen. And so my name is Boris, founder of Fine Market. And for the past months, I've been helping coaches, consultants, founders, course creators, agency owners, and entrepreneurs scale their business with email marketing. Now, let's get into the actual steps you'll implement in the next 30 days to add 1,000 subscribers to your email list. Now, the first thing you need to know is there are two steps, okay? The first step is build a lead magnet, and the second step is promote the lead magnet. As simple as that. But we get into the details now. Okay, let's get to the first step, right? Build a lead magnet. Now, how do you build the lead magnet? Okay, you start by what? By knowing your ideal customer. Because at the end of the day, for who are we building this lead magnet? For your customer, right? And so you need to know exactly their pain points and their struggles. Okay, you need to know their goals, their aspirations, or whatever information you can get. You need to know all of that, like literally everything. And now after you've studied, okay, your ideal customer or your best potential subscriber, I would say that way. The next thing you want to do is identify among those pain points, right? The one or the ones that are painful enough but that are quite easy and quick to fix. Hear me here. Identifying the pain points that are painful. That's why I place this in bold. Very important. That are painful enough, but that are quite easy and quick to fix. Now, why do I say that are painful enough? Remember, when someone gets more satisfaction, okay, when he or she solves a problem that is very painful. And so, since we want our lead magnet to be as valuable as possible, okay, that's why we are going to take the pain points that are really painful to our potential subscribers or our potential customers, okay, and it's based on those pain points that we are going to build our lead magnet. Now, why do I say but that are quite easy and quick to fix? In spite of the fact we want to provide value, okay, you don't want to waste so much time in building your lead magnet. Why? Because you're not going to sell it, okay? It's free. You're going to give it away for free. And so you don't want to spend so much time in building, else you're just wasting your time, right? Because you don't want to spend 2 weeks in building something you're going to give for free, okay? And so, as I said, it's based on these pain points. That is pain points that are painful enough but that are quite easy and quick to fix, that you're going to build our lead magnet. Now, after you've known your ideal customer, okay, you want to build the lead magnet actually. Now, and as I said earlier, it could be a course, an ebook, a checklist, a playbook, or whatever product format you think is best in your niche, okay? And sometimes people say they don't know the format in which they are gonna wrap their lead magnet. But if you don't know the format in which you're gonna put your lead magnet, okay, what I usually recommend is simply look at what leaders are already doing. Like leaders in your niche, right? I always look at what they are doing that is already working, and that's it. That's it. Like, remember, you don't always need to be creative, or you don't always have to be creative or reinvent the wheel. Sometimes you just have to see what's already working and then replicate it in your own style or in your own unique way. And that's basically it. Because usually what kills a lot of business owners is they are trying to create something new out of thin air. But sometimes you just need to look at what's already working in the market and simply replicate it in your own style. That's what a lot of business owners do, and it's been successful. Like, yeah, brother, just go on and do what you have to do. Now, the only thing I'll say in the building, in the part of building the lead magnet, because I'm not the one who's gonna build your lead magnet. The only thing I'll say is make it short, make it quickly actionable. Because remember, users want something they can quickly implement, and so what you want to make is to build your lead magnet in such a way it's quickly actionable, okay, in a way users can quickly implement and get fast results. And third, and most importantly, build it within a day. As I said earlier, don't waste so much time in building your lead magnet. That this is where a lot of business owners get stuck. They spend hours and hours and days and weeks sometimes in building something they're going to give for free. It makes no sense. And yeah, so I think this part, the part of building the lead magnet, is gone. Now the next step is building your landing page. And remember, you are still in step one, the step of building the lead magnet. Okay, now these are the very, I'm just explaining the various steps in which you will have to build your lead magnet. Now after you've built your lead magnet, okay, you want to build what? Your landing page. Now, like what I recommend usually for the landing page is make it simple, okay? Don't overcomplicate things. Not like, basically what you want to include on a good landing page, I'll say that way, is a title, and usually is the name of your lead magnet, a description where you describe what the lead magnet entails and how subscribers are going to benefit from the lead magnet. The third one is a small picture if necessary. Sometimes you could just include, maybe if it's a course, you could just include some graphics or some visual. And the last and the most important point is the CTA paired with your opt-in form. Okay, this is very important. Well, let me give you a look of it, what a typical lead magnet looks like. A typical landing page, I mean to say, looks like. Here's my landing page, like for Fine Market. At that, you've got it. Here's my title, right? All mapped out. Here's my visual. Here's my description, and here is my form. Simple as it is. Plus my seats here. Now, sometimes you might include testimonials or results you've gotten from past clients. Okay, this increases your credibility. Okay, and so yeah, that's basically it. And some links at the bottom if you want, but which is of course not necessary. So that's basically what a typical landing page looks like. Like nothing complicated, make it simple. And again, the ideal is you'd want to build your landing page, both your landing page and both your lead magnet, on the same day. As I said, do not waste so much time on something you're not going to sell. But make sure, while making sure it's extremely valuable, of course. Now, the next part is, yeah, we've studied our ideal customer, we found out their specific pain points, and we've built the lead magnet and the landing page. So that's basically it about step one. That is building your lead magnet. Okay, that's basically it about step one. Now the next thing we want to do is get to step two. As I told you, we have two steps. Step one, building the lead magnet, and step two, promoting the lead magnet. Now step two, you want to promote the lead magnet. How do you do that? It's often done in two ways, okay, or in three ways, but let's just say two ways for now. In two ways, the first way is inbound and the second way is outbound. Now, as let's get to the outbound first, okay, because why do I say you need to start with the outbound first? Because it's the more accessible way, I guess, when you're just starting out a newsletter or an email list. So the first outbound method now is, what do? You will contact people you know. Let me put this in bold. You will contact people you know, usually your family, your friends, and relatives, and ask them if they are interested in joining your list. I know this might sound too simple, right? It might sound too simple, but I can assure you that this is usually where you get like your first 20 or your first 10 to 20 subscribers, usually from this method. Like, this is the first method you need to think of when you're starting a newsletter and you don't have traffic, right? Outreach to your family members or to people you know, because it usually starts with the people you know first, right? When you're building something, or when you're, let's say, or when you're selling a new product, it usually starts with the people you know first. before even trying to reach out to strangers on whatever platform. And yet, trust me, you'd be amazed of how this method works. Just try it, like today. Just try it, okay? Just send, just send a message to 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 every single person in your contact book, and you will see what I'm talking about. Now, I even get further by giving you a script of what your message could look like. You could say something like, "Hey Boris, hope you're doing great. I just started a newsletter about, in my case, email marketing. Was wondering if you'd be interested in checking it out." Boom. As simple as that. And now, if the person says yes, okay, if the person says yes, you will say something like, "Okay, Boris, just hand me your best email address and you're good." So, what you basically want to do here is ask their email address, and when they will hand you their email address, you will go on and sign them up yourself, okay, on your email marketing platform. And that's usually the procedure. Now, after you've signed them up, you if you have a lead magnet, right, which you have, of course, because we've built it, you will you could say something like, "I'm actually giving like XYZ gift to people who sign up," okay? And so you could send them the link to the landing page, and they will, and for them to grab their lead magnet, and they will be even be happier, right? They'll be happier, like they will be happy of joining your lead magnet, okay? Of joining your email newsletter, I mean to say, okay? Because the last thing you'd want to do is instead hand them the link directly, because a lot of people a lot of people are busy, okay? And when you just hand the link, most of them won't get on the landing page and actually sign up to your newsletter. But so what you want to do is manually sign them up first before you send them the link to your landing page for them to grab their lead magnet. This works like crazy. Now, in the case people say no, or in the case someone says no, right? And this is where a lot of business owners make, like, this a mistake a lot of business owners make, like they just contain themselves with a no, which is not what you want to do, okay? What you instead want to do when you are saying no, okay, is say something like, "Okay, thanks. Anyone you know that could be interested?" That This question is so powerful. Now, why do I say so? The first thing I want to say is, people will never give you answers to questions you haven't asked. And so, why? Why am I saying this? Because don't expect people to, don't expect someone to tell you he knows another person that could be interested in joining your newsletter if you haven't asked. Okay. And so, if he just tells you he's not interested, right? If he just gives you a no and you stay quiet and you contain yourself with that no, you're just losing, you're losing that person, plus the people that person know who might be interested in your newsletter. Because most of the time you realize people might not be interested in joining your newsletter, but they could know someone or people in their family or in their community that could be who have businesses that could be interested in joining your newsletter. And so this is the question you want to ask after they've said no, right? This is the question you want to ask. "Okay, thanks. Anyone you know that could be interested, please ask this question each time you are told a no." Okay. Now, after you've done this with the people you know, right? Now we've reached the people you know. You will want to do this with the people you don't know, that is strangers. And this is where social media comes into the game. This is where you leverage social media. But the only difference here is your message will be quite a little bit different. Okay, your message will be quite a little bit different. Why am I saying so? Because now you are not targeting a warm audience, you are now targeting a cold audience. And so you can't use the same message you are using for a warm audience with a cold audience. And so, yeah, so the people you want to target on social media are obviously people's followers, their followings, Facebook groups, engagers, and so on. Okay, to find as most people as you can to reach out to. Now, yes, what your message could look like for this core audience. You could say something like, "Hey Boris, I don't know. No, I rather delete this one. I rather delete this one. Okay, I think this line isn't that necessary. You could say something like, "Hey Boris, I just started a newsletter on email marketing on your topic." Wait, give me a second. On topic, yeah. Oh, what is happening here? Well, anyways, yeah, I just started a newsletter on email marketing where I share weekly tips and actionables. Will you be interested in checking it out? Period. You send this, and I want to be clear, equal, like your message, okay, shouldn't be that complicated. And again, if you have some ways of shortening this, because I think this is quite long, if you have some ways of shortening this, please do so, because your message should be very short, because you're sending it to a stranger, and so you don't want to send a long text message to a stranger. So that's a very important part. Send them short messages. You could sound like someone who's spamming when you send long text messages. And now, if the person says yes, it's basically the same approach. Okay, John, or okay, Boris, just hand me your best email address and you're good. And as soon as they hand their email address, you manually sign them up on your email list. And after you've signed them up, as I said earlier, you can now tell them, I'm offering XYZ as gift or as lead magnet to the people who join, and then you send them the link to your landing page. That's basically it. Now, if they say no, same approach as I said earlier. Okay, thanks. Anyone you know that could be interested. And most of the times, you realize they know someone in their network who is interested or who might be interested in joining your newsletter. And if you send this to at least 50 people a day, like I can almost guarantee you will get at least 10 subscribers every single week. Like it's a guarantee, because consider the math. We have 7 days a week, right? And I'm considering the fact you send 50 of this, or you send this to 50 people a day. That is 350 people you've outreach in a single week. Like, tell me how will you not convert 10 of them onto your email list? It's mathematically impossible, if I could say it that way. It's almost impossible. And so yeah, there are higher chances you convert a lot of them if you set the standard to 50 people a day. Okay. And yeah, and the reason this works equally, the reason this works is you're not trying to sell them, as most of the people who are reach them or who reach out to them on a daily basis. You're not trying. The difference with you is you're not trying to pitch them or sell them something. You're simply trying to provide value. And which type of value? Free value, brother. Like you're trying to provide free value. And and, and so people will be less skeptical about you reaching out to them, because you're not trying to sell them something, unless maybe the fact you could be spamming them with irrelevant emails. That's the only thing they could be skeptical about. But literally, but most of the time, they won't feel any friction, okay, in joining your newsletter, if they are actually interested in what you are in what you are discussing on your newsletter. Because here you don't position because when you send such a message, right, you don't position yourself as someone who's trying to sell, but someone who's trying to help. And so there's a very big difference. And equally, there's something I want to catch your attention on. Please don't exceed the 50. Like, you could send 50 DMs a day, okay, or even more, but don't exceed 60. Don't exceed 60 people a day, especially on social media like Instagram or Facebook. Why do I say so? Because there are high chances your account is gonna get banned or it's gonna get restricted. Okay, and so please don't play the game of 100 outreaches a day, especially on social media. You could do that with the people you know. that is off social media on your contact book. But when you're on social media, please don't exceed the limit of 50, maximum 60 people a day, but don't exceed that limit, please. It's very important. And yeah, so far we've covered two outreach methods, right? We've covered two outbound methods, I mean to say, because remember there are two of them. We have inbound and outbound, and so far we've covered the two of the outbound methods. We've covered reaching out to people you know and reaching out to people you don't know. Now let's get to the third one, because there's actually a third outbound method: paid ads. Obviously, paid ads. Now, if you're leveraging paid ads, right, you obviously want to use a lead magnet, which you already have. And usually what people do is they will set up some sort of a funnel, right, where they'll promote their lead magnet and sell it at a very low price point. So usually when you're running ads, you don't want to give your lead magnet for free. Usually, most of the time you sell it as at a very low price point, like $7 to $27 maximum. Maximum. I recommend $7. Usually I recommend that. And so when people now buy, you get these buyers obviously onto your email list, right? Because they're going to hand their email address before buying the product. And obviously, and now when they are on your email list, you can then upsell them, okay? Upsell them on that email list on your higher ticket product or offers. And yeah, that's actually a great way of building your email list while making money at the same time. And pay that usually work. And yeah, it often usually work. But obviously, if you want to try pay ad, you obviously want to have some skills in running ads and some money to invest. Because I think paid ads is the most effective way of building your image. Like, it's the fastest and most effective way of building an email list. But you want to have these two things: skill and money to invest. Else you're just else you will just be wasting your time. To be honest with you, you will just be wasting your time. Now let's get now to the now we are done with the outbound methods, right? Let's now get to the inbound methods. And as I said, outbound methods, we have reaching out to people you know, people you don't know, and pay that. Now the inbound method, obviously inbound is usually about one, posting content on social media, getting attention and engagement, and then redirecting these people to your lead magnet. So that's basically it about inbound. Usually that's what inbound is all about. And I actually made a video on this, okay, where I get into the details of how this works. I built like a complete email marketing funnel for organic traffic, that is social media content. And so I recommend you check it out somewhere here on the screen equally after you've watched this video. I like in that video I literally break down step by step what the inbound method I'm talking about here is. Okay, I can't explain it here because else the video is gonna be too long. Okay, and the only thing I'll say here is, and this is where a lot of business owners stumble. Like, if you feel like you're not getting enough engagement on your social media post, right, please, I'm begging you, and like I'm literally begging you, simply go and hire a social media expert to help you and grow and optimize your content. Like, this will save you so much time and energy, because a lot of times we are just stuck. Okay, we can't get engagement, but we are trying to figure it out by yourself, except you have some time to waste. But please, if you feel like you're not getting engagement on social media, go hire a social media expert. There are a lot of them on Instagram or on LinkedIn or whatever platform you are on. Okay, and the very last method, now this is actually a bonus method, because remember earlier I told you there are two methods, right, of growing your email list. There's the inbound method and there's the outbound method. Now here is sort of a bonus method. I'll call it list swaps. Now the first thing is, this is a method you Yeah, like this method, you leverage this only when you already have a good number of people on your list. And so obviously if you're just starting out an email list, you can't leverage this method. I don't think you'll be able to leverage this method. And so usually it's for people who already have some people on their list. Why am I saying so? Because well, let's just start with what is a lead swap first of all. It's when you send someone else's lead magnet to your list, and that person sends your lead magnet to their list for promotional purposes. So basically, so you realize here, basically you're promoting someone's lead magnet to your list, right? Because you already have people on your list, as I said earlier, and that person is equally promoting your lead magnet to your list. Now what's happening here is you guys are basically sending traffic to each other, because it's like me, okay, I'm asking people on my list to grab your lead magnet and subscribe to your newsletter. Obviously, because to grab your lead magnet, I would have to subscribe to your newsletter, right? And you, on the other side, you are equally asking people on your list to grab my lead magnet and get my emails. So that's basically what lead swap is all about, okay? And equally, as I said, you want to have at least 100 plus people already on your list for this to work. And obviously you'd want to do this with someone having the same list size as you, so both of you fairly benefit from each other. Because it's usually tough, okay, it's usually tough to do this with someone. Let's say you have 100 subscribers, right? It's usually tough to do it with someone that's already at, let's say, 10,000 subscribers, because the person is not going to benefit much from you, right? And you, on the other side, you're going to benefit so much from that person. And so it's usually tough to do this with people who don't have the approximately the same size list as yours, okay? So yeah, although it happens sometimes that you might find a creator who has a very big list and accept to do list swaps with you, but it rarely does, although sometimes it might happen. So that's basically it about this video, right? We've covered three so far. We've covered three of them, okay? Three of the ways in which you can promote your lead magnet: inbound, outbound, and lead swaps. So let me just make a quick recap so you don't forget what I just said, because I think it's a lot of information. So the first thing is, I told you there are two steps, basic steps of building an email list. Step one, building your lead magnet, and step two, promoting your lead magnet. Now, how do you build the lead magnet? Knowing your ideal customer, building the lead magnet actually, and building what your landing page. Now, after you've done that, we get to step two, promoting your lead magnet. Three ways of doing it, or two ways, or three. Let's just say three. We have the outbound method, where you can outreach people you know, people you don't know, and or you can leverage paid ads. We equally have the inbound method, which is basically about posting content, getting engagement, and redirecting that engagement or that traffic to your lead magnet. I recorded a video, an in-depth video on this. Go check it out, please. It's actually my first video on this YouTube channel. So yeah, that's basically it. Okay, that's basically it. And the last but not the least method of promoting your lead magnet, we have lead swaps. As I said, promoting someone else's lead magnet and their email list, and the person in return equally promotes your lead magnet and your email list to his list. So that's basically what this video is all about, guys. So if you've gotten some questions, simply drop them in the comments, or you can send me a message on Instagram. Yeah, see you in the next video. Let's just